host for this episode, Joshua, and today we are joined by the wonderful and lovely Evelyn. Hello, Evelyn. How are you?
Oh, hi, Josh. I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm very well. Can you maybe tell the audience a bit about where you are at the moment?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, so I'm based in Basingstoke in Hampshire. We just, 40 minutes from London by
Mm,
train along the M3. So I'm sort of surrounded by, so many beautiful other counties, Berkshire, there's
mm.
Surrey, there's, Oxfordshire, within sort of an hour's reach. So it's a really lovely location and I love it. Yeah.
Amazing. How long have you been in the UK?
Oh gosh, yeah. I've been here since 2000. I came in
Oh,
April
wow.
2000. Yeah. Yeah, long. It doesn't feel like though. It doesn't feel like it.
I can imagine.
You're like, oh gosh, where has the time gone to? Yeah.
Listen, time flies when you're having fun, hey?
I guess so. I guess so. Yeah, it's been a good, well, yeah, mostly good experience. Yeah.
Evelyn, so you began your healthcare journey as a healthcare assistant.
Yes. Yeah.
So tell me, what was it about looking after vulnerable people or that drew you to this field? And how did your upbringing in Zimbabwe influence your choice of this particular profession?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I mean I had watched my mom look after my paternal grandmother when she came to live with us. She wasn't well for some time, so she came and she lived with us, and I would see what my mom was doing, caring for her. And when you're young, it sort of sometimes, looks a bit odd, somebody being given tea 4, 5 times a day, but that was sort of all part of the caring, making sure she got all her 3 meals and, assisting her to the bathroom if she needed.
Mm,
And, it was such a good result. I mean, afterwards she got better and, she lived for, a good few more years after that. So I really like that, that aspect. And then with my caring journey here in the UK, I started off as a healthcare assistant in a nursing home in Leicester. I still remember vividly everything about that home for 20 years
mm.
old ago. I still remember the names of the residents I looked after, their characters, and yeah. So I worked there for about 2 years. And it was during my time there that, we had this really nice nurse called Gail. And she used to say, you're so good. Why don't you just do your training? Just do your training. And because you're doing half the job already. So just go and do your training. So, yeah, so I got the inspiration and, the encouragement. I think in life, you always need such people, people who see your potential, people who encourage you to go further, to stretch your limits and,
Mm.
to explore, other options. So yeah, I'm really great. She probably doesn't know it, Gail, that, she really was, that inspiration to say, oh, just go do your training. But yeah, yeah. So from there, I applied to do my nurse training. And yeah, so I don't know if you say the rest is history now.
Yeah, of course. Well, shout out to Gail. Thank you for your
Yeah,
service.
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So you were in Leicester for 2 years. What was the next step after that?
Yeah, well, I applied then for my nurse training, and I got a place of all places, in Scotland. Yeah, cold, windy, raining Scotland, but beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Scotland, in Aberdeen, in the northeast. So when I'm here, we call it up north, and
Mm,
when I was up north, we called where I am here down south. Yeah, so I was there in the northeast of Aberdeen, a very nice city. It's an oil city. There's the oil industry there, and yeah, I mean, at that time it was very good. It was a very good, city, to live, very thriving, because obviously of the oil.
Mm.
city. So yeah, it really was a good city to live in. Yeah, then and study. Yeah,
All
so I
right.
studied at Robert Gordon University. I got my nurse, my a place to do my nurse training there for 3 years at Robert Gordon University.
Oh, I mean, that's very, it's certainly impressive. So, how did the process of nurse training, or how did you find the process of nurse training, and sort of what were the most challenging and rewarding aspects of this training?
Yeah, well, it was I mean, fortunately for us, this new intake of we were 2002 intake. We were the first ones to use, because Robert Gordon had built this new campus in Garthy, a place called Garthy, and we
Mm.
were, the first lot to use the facilities there. So it was a wonderful, wonderful university, nicely modern, modern built place that we had, very good facilities. So that was good, and I met some very nice people there. Some I still keep in touch with up until this day. We still do keep in touch. So that was rewarding. But I mean, the whole experience of learning, going to uni, attending lecturers, and obviously with nursing, you go on placements as well in hospitals. So yeah, I mean, that was all good. Yeah, I mean, it was challenging as well, especially the placements.
Mm.
Yeah, because some places, you'd go to some places where maybe if you are not so lucky, you might get a mentor who was not so keen on you. Those things do happen.
Yeah.
You might have some, I had some, challenges with, with some placements. But on the whole, it's all a learning experience. It's whether it's good or bad. It's all a learning experience. Yeah. So I made some great friends. We had great lecturers. I mean, the facilities were good, and yeah, it was a really positive experience for me doing, and of course, not to mention being a student. You get all these discounts. You get all
Yeah, of
so.
course.
So I always say to other students, make the most of it. It don't last forever. So yeah, so that part was good, and obviously balancing, like study, because you needed to work as well. I mean, though we got a bursary, which was very, fortunate. We're very fortunate that we got a bursary to do our training. It did help, but you still needed to work, on a bit. So you like balancing work, study, and
Yeah.
work and study. You sort of balancing, everything and assignments all at the same time. So yeah, that could, that did become a bit of a challenge. But I made some good friends, and would help each other, spur each other on, and would meet up. Like sit in a row, each one on their computer, and would like bring in snacks, and would type the night away, our assignments, and break in between, have a chat, and yeah. So that was really, that got me through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've been a registered nurse since 2005.
Yes.
And I'm sure that's been a very interesting and challenging and rewarding experience. So,
Yeah.
since then, what's been keeping your passion for nursing alive after all these years?
Okay. Right. So every day is different. You meet so many different people, and yeah, it makes for an interesting career, but very challenging. I think we all know of the challenges of nursing.
Yeah.
When I worked and I mean, I've worked in different specialities as well. Yeah, so it's just I think in a way it's good, that you get different challenges. You're not sort of going back to the old. But I think I also got to a time when I just liked having that certainty, where I go to one place, because having done agency with yourself, with
Mm.
Cromwell, as well, in as much as it was a very good experience, and I would not take anything away from it, you get to a stage where you sort of just want that, sort of that stability, that certainty, that, you know where you're going, you know who you're going to meet, exactly. But yeah, unlike with agency where you like, you're in one hospital today, this ward today, and you sort of always had to be very adaptable,
Mm.
yeah, doing agency work. But which is good. I wouldn't be where be doing what I'm doing now without having had that
Mm.
experience. Yeah.
And you have a foundational experience in cardiology nursing, and I think you also mentioned it was for about 5 years.
Yes. Yeah.
So, how has this experience in cardiology influenced your nursing career? And did it serve as some kind of springboard to other specialities? And I mean, I just heard now that you've done a lot of specialities. So, was that the springboard, or how has that experience influenced your career?
Oh yeah, yeah. Definitely, it was a springboard, cardiology, because it's sort of, I don't know, I would like to call it, sort of the center of everything,
Mm,
of everything. And it was, I mean, it was a tough place, it wasn't. I used to have one sister who said, it's not for the faint-hearted. It was a busy place, and challenging. But when I look back now, again, I wouldn't have had the confidence to go on and do, have done other things that I have done without having had that experience in cardiology. So it was really a very good, experience for me to have worked there, challenging as it was. But it really did sort of, set me up, if you like. Yeah, I just had the confidence now after having worked in cardiology. I had the confidence to, to work anywhere, really, anywhere
mm,
in nursing. Yeah, and so that's, yeah, because I really did get a good, experience. I got a good feel because I worked in the ward, and sometimes you'd also go and help in the labs, where people are having pacemakers, or they're having these like day operations, or look after patients when they have like major heart surgery. So yeah, it was a really good, yeah, a good foundation for me.
Right. And yeah, you've mentioned that you've been in different specialities. What kind of specialities have you gone into?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was mostly when I worked with yourselves, with Cromwell. I mean, I've gone on to do stroke, I've, diabetes, I've gone on to do surgical as well, knee and hips, orthopedics, I've, gastrointestinal, nursing. I mean, yeah, I think I've really done a lot. I mean, I've done the day cases, I've scenario, I've done the outpatients. Yeah, I've done A&E as well. I've done, like the admissions, admissions unit. Yeah, so I've done a variety, really. I mean, even a bit of high dependency. I think the only thing I've not maybe done is intensive care, of which you
Mm.
do need specialist training for that in order to work there. But yeah, I mean, drop me anywhere in a hospital, I can pretty much function function very well. Yeah.
And would you kind of say that each of these specialities or nursing roles has taught you something different about your career, or do they sort of teach you something similar?
Oh no, they've definitely something different. Yeah, they've taught me something different. Yeah, I mean, it's different when you look after a stroke patient, and when you look after well, even maybe a diabetic patient. But they're sort of they're interlinked, that usually people who have diabetes sometimes can be at risk of strokes, and vice versa. and people who've like broken a leg are different from people having some abdominal surgery, maybe women having like hysterectomies, and so it is it is different. It is different, and it really has as well, with what I'm doing. Sometimes by just looking at what medication someone is on, you can sort of conclude, almost be able to conclude what conditions they've had before they even tell you, by just seeing
Mm.
what medication they're on. So it is different, and yeah, you do get something from each one of them.
Right. And considering all your background and your experiences, where do you kind of see yourself over the next 10 to 15 years? What does your nursing role look like?
Okay, so now I think I probably mentioned it. So now what I'm doing, I'm still in the caring profession. I'm not nursing
Mm,
as such, but I'm still in the caring profession. I have my my son and I, we have our own care business now.
mm,
It's called domiciliary care. We look after people in their own homes. Mostly, we do a bit of supported living as well. So yeah, that's where my the nursing has taken me to. So I've had
mm,
to, because we got busy. I've had to leave the nursing and concentrate on the business, because yeah, I just couldn't do it all at the same time. But I'm
mm,
still, it's still, you'll be amazed how much I wouldn't be doing what I am, without the nursing experience that I had, because I'm still having to go and do assessments. When we have a new client, we call them service users. When we
mm,
have a new service users, I'm having to go and assess them. I ask their past medical history. I ask what medication they're on. I ask how they are coping, what they can do for themselves. Just all the, you're going through all the checklists that I would have done as a nurse, and you sort of also anticipate their needs. You draw up a care plan. Do a risk assessment. So I'm having to do all those things that I learned, um, you know very grateful for the nursing experience that I got here.
mm. And you mentioned Cromwell Medical Staffing, you know, where you work through this agency. And if, for the listeners out there who don't know what Cromwell Medical Staffing is, it's a medical recruitment agency that specializes in nursing across the UK. And they also operate under ICG Medical, which Voice of Nursing is also operating under.
Yeah.
So, Evelyn, tell us, how was your experience with Cromwell Medical Staffing, and how did that sort of help and impact your career and confidence as a nurse?
Oh, it did, inspire me greatly. And, I gained so much knowledge and experience. And it really was a very positive experience. I mean, I really was sorry to leave the guys, because I got to know some of the guys there. Well, when we started, it was Arrows. I don't know if you, it was called
Mm,
Arrows.
mm,
Yeah, and then it changed. I don't know, it changed to something else. And yeah, then Cromwell, then ICG. Yeah, I think I remember some of the guys. Sean, if I'm allowed to mention names, Sean was really great when, we worked so well together. It's as if you knew them, though they were all over the phone. And, we had such great working relationships with the guys, over the phone. They sort of knew us, we knew them. They got to know us in a way, and they would know where to place us, if you know what I mean. Whenever there was something, they would like call us, call me and say, oh,
mm,
how do you feel about this? And they had sort of, but they were sort of at that pre-knowledge of myself and my circumstances. So they were sort of proactive in how they dealt with me. So that I really did. Yeah, it was really good, a very good experience with the guys. And also the I must mention is Miriam, the nurse lead.
yeah.
She's really, whenever you had an issue, there's no issue that she she didn't manage to solve. Yeah, for me, she was really great, very knowledgeable lady, and very helpful as well. And there's no, absolutely nothing that no problem that you had that she couldn't solve or help you. Even when we're doing, not only with problem, but when we're doing the revalidation as well. You learn so much, just from the little interaction you have with her. If you are open, somebody who's got like open ears, if you know what I mean, you really can learn a lot from her. So yeah, that was good. And also, in as much as some people will say, oh, I don't know how you do this job where you are going to, one hospital today, another hospital tomorrow, one ward today, another ward tomorrow, but I learned you have to be adaptable and flexible, which are still the same things that I find, very useful in this job. It's still, if you're in health and social care, you really have to be, adaptable and flexible. It's just the nature of the job. It's the nature of the industry. Yeah, people have to be, willing to, work in a team. They have to be, willing to, to try or to be able to help or to cooperate and
Mm.
go and work, in areas maybe they may not feel confident, but as long as you reassure them, you give them that support, then
Yeah.
it is possible. But in healthcare, you definitely need people who are going to be adaptable and who are going to be flexible. So that's really the big takeaway that I got from working with with Cromwell, of being
So,
adaptable and being flexible and working in a team. I really enjoyed working with the guys there. Yeah, the time that I did.
yeah, that's amazing, and I'm very pleased to hear that Cromwell treated you so wonderfully. Evelyn, tell me, just as parting words, do you maybe have, as a veteran nurse yourself and somebody who's now started her own business and is running a successful business with an employee count of 20, what kind of motivation or words of encouragement do you have for somebody who's similar to your situation, who's now stepped out of the nursing career to start her own or his own nursing sort of related business?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, the first thing I would say is maybe, like to go right back when you are actually doing the nursing, that's where it starts. Because, you've got to be somebody who, like when you're on the job, just be committed to the job, be committed to like, I mean, I'm not saying that, it's sort of a reward, but it does sort of pay in a way, when you are really there, you are there for your patients, you do, absolutely anything for your patients. So I think that's sort of the first starting point, is that, just be that, hardworking, sort of maybe even honest in what you do when you are working as a nurse. And because I mean, you will need, because even as myself running my own business, those are things as well that I look for in our staff,
Mm,
and yeah, people who like go out of their way. So, I would say if that's your dream, the sky is the limit, definitely go for it. But it is hard work, you really have to be committed. I mean, there was a time when I wouldn't stop, I wouldn't stop, especially when I was, when we're, growing the business, because, you have to be, like so involved in it yourself before we managed to get other stuff on board, day to day, day in, day out. So, you really have to be, it really has to be what that you want to do that, because, you there's a point where I just sort of got, a bit, discouraged and demoralized
yeah.
and said, oh gosh, I can't go on forever like this. I think almost for a good 2 years, I was, you wouldn't take holidays. I mean, even getting weekends off, all these functions and birthdays, they were just, weekends, they were all, you don't have a life, your life is like your business for a while.
Yeah.
So, it's a commitment. It is a huge commitment, and you really have to be, committed. So, yeah, so that's my main takeaway, advice for anyone who wants to start that. It's a huge commitment. If you have family, they all have to be, fully on board with what you want to do, because
Yeah.
otherwise, to avoid any misunderstandings or they have to know, like my son is involved with me, so he knows very well how the business runs, and he's urged me, oh, you need to take a proper holiday. He's been urging, you need to go away for like 2-3 weeks in the sun, and yeah, take a proper holiday, because he has seen how hard I've worked, going out myself, having to do the work. I mean, now it's better, as you say, we've got about 20 employees on board. So I'm more doing the management side of it,
Mm.
which is still hard work in itself, because you're having to, look after stuff. Everybody comes with their own issues. So it's like having to deal with each person and their issues, and, making sure that the business is safe, and that, that everybody is seen to by the right people, at the right time. So that's my encouragement, and it's rewarding. You do meet some great people as well. I
Yeah.
love all our service users. You learn so much from them, if you are open to listening to their stories. It's never a boring day, but it is hard work, and there are sort of many, in as much as the nursing does give you that foundation. When you are running a business, there are sort of many other aspects that you are looking at,
Mm.
not just sort of there's so many other things to consider as well. But it's very much doable, and it's a rewarding, it's a fulfilling thing to have to care, to know you've made a difference in other people's lives. And we do get that feedback. It's just good when you get that feedback that, oh, we don't know what we'll do without you girls, and you've
Mm.
we enjoy you coming here. So yeah, I think at the end of the day, when you do get that feedback, I think that's that can only be a positive thing.
Yeah. Well, Evelyn, thank you so much for joining us today. I really thoroughly enjoyed chatting to you, and
That's all
it's
right.
amazing to see that you've had such a extensive career, and now that you've built it up and you've created such a entrepreneurial opportunity for yourself as well. So well done.
Yeah, that's all right. Thank you.